Hello everybody. In this video, I would like to talk about the approach to completely exterminate suffering from the mind. As we know, everyone who were born into this world always suffer. The suffer occurs in the body as well as in the mind. Suffering in the body, such as pain, cannot be avoided and it has to be treated according to what we know. But suffering in the mind, we can actually uh, completely exterminate it using the right approach. The way to exterminate suffering, there's a technique for it, but in order to understand how it works, we have to understand how the mind create things in the materialistic world, and then we can refer that back into a non-materialistic subject. In this world, humans like us like to create things. We create things so that we actually benefits from it. For example, we build a house uh, as a shelter to prevent any harm sting from us. And the way we build houses, we actually built from really strong material. We actually understand the material pretty well, and we actually understand how well to put them together. And the objective most of the time is to make the house, as strong as possible and last as long as possible. And of course, we want to make sure it actually doesn't have a lot of maintenance for it. And of course, just like every house, it has yards and all kinds. It requires maintenance. So we always, as we build a house, we always have to protect the properties. We have to maintain it clean and prevent everything from invading to the properties and can destroy it or you know doesn't look nice. So we always have to clean the yards and all kinds of stuff pretty much uh, routinely. So as we know it, everything we created in the mind, we have perceptions that we want to make it less maintenance as possible. We want to make it last forever. And of course, everything in the universe, in the materialistic world, never lasts forever. So it comes and go, and we always have suffering as a process to keep maintaining it. Now, once we understand the process of the materialistic world have and how the suffering occur, we know how to exterminate it. To exterminate it, we actually try to exterminate the house, just remove the house completely. So that means removing self in the mind, the selfness in the mind. And we have to understand the process of how self is created, and actually that brings suffering as a consequence because nothing can sustain forever. For example, if we like, if we seek for happiness um, through loved ones or maybe through seeing really beautiful things, we cannot keep seeking for that thing forever, or if you cannot hold on for that thing forever, it's a consequence is suffering. So to remove um, suffering, we have to understand the components that actually integrated or constructed to create self. Those components are forms, emotions, memories, thoughts, and senses of perceptions. And once we understand how those components put together really well, we know how to remove it and disintegrate it or compartmentalize it so that it doesn't form or integrate into something that we call itself. So that's how we exterminate suffering. So how do you practice this in reality? So as we know it that in Buddha teaching, he taught about meditation and how meditation can exterminate suffering. Meditations, they're from the Western world perspective, they mostly evolve with relaxation and concentration of the mind. And in Buddhist teaching, we actually include additional, or actually emphasize on the meditation to contemplations on the subjects or the problems that we're actually facing right now, and find the root cause of it to exterminate it. But actually, these two types of meditation works pretty well together, and actually, it's required for everyone to learn in order to be successful in exterminating suffering. So today, I would like to talk about the first kind, actually partly evolved with the second kind, which is the vipassana meditation. So the basic of the meditation in this case is we actually have to visualize ourselves, which consists of mind and body. The body is just the body, so we want to focus on the mind, so we actually want to find a place that actually quiet and peaceful and just sit there and relax. But the mind, as we know it, especially untrained mind, it likes to seek for something all the time, just like in the materialistic world that we like to seek for something that we like to see, hear, touch, smell, taste, and feel. So we cannot just sit there for a long period of time. The mind is like a wild animal that actually like to wandering around into the jungle and sometimes get lost. So the way to train the mind to exterminate suffering is actually from the beginning or the basic is actually you need to put a fence surround that wild animal. It's like putting a cage to limit the area for that animal to go, which is your mind. So wild animals like to go everywhere, and actually if it goes out of place, it creates suffering. So we put the cage around it so it prevents it from causing additional suffering to the mind. So that is called precepts. The precepts in Buddhism, there are many different levels, and the basic one is 5 precepts, which is it's a set of rules that we actually accepted, and actually it's a rule that actually make everyone live together peacefully, and that's actually it's good to accept anyway, such as do not kill animals, or something that hurts them or harm them, threaten their life, because every animals you know want to stay alive, so just like us. Second rule is that no stealing, because just like everyone's, they like to take possession of something, so we don't take possession of other people's without permissions. And third is do not have sexual conducts, just like someone love other persons, you don't steal other person away from them. And fourth one is to tell the truth, tell truthful words of what you express, and actually be polite, because we don't be aggressive or accuse of someone of something that bring us trouble, as well as we don't feel guilty about telling lies either. And the fifth rule is not drink or consume some chemicals or toxic chemical that actually alter the state of mind in a really bad way, such as alcoholic things, to reduce the mindfulness. So these are precepts or rules that actually need to be kept in place at all time to make sure that person um, will be in a good path toward enlightenment. Next, once we have the cage set in place, Now we in the process of training the mind, or this wild animal. To train this wild animal, what we typically do is put a pole and have a rope attached to the pole, and then you know put them on leash, just like we put animal on leash when they take them for a walk. Exact same way, the mind's on leash is like we focus on a mantra, something that actually calms the mind down, such as a peaceful music, which is pretty much we don't attach to the music at the end, or something actually more neutral mantras, just like focusing on breathing. So every time the minds start to wander away while you sit and relax, then the mind's aware. The conscious is a conscious that aware that is wandering around. Then bring your conscious back to the breathing. So if you keep doing this, oftentimes the minds become more calm automatically. Like why animals like to go out to towards something, you want to pull the rope back. So that why animals become conscious and knowing that if you keep going toward the other directions, it's going to cause painful things. So they have to go back to the pole, which is the mantra. So that's how you calm the minds down. And if you keep practicing this every day, maybe increasing it, let's say from 1 minute a day to about 5, 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day, you can feel the difference in the state of mind. You're conscious. You will become less angry, you become more polite, and you become more peaceful. But that's not all. But this is the basic of doing a meditation for calm and relaxations. Then we need to move forward to the second step is through understanding how the mind works. And to understand how the minds work from the first basic training is that we actually understand what the animal like, what triggers the animal's activity, and what doesn't trigger animals' activities. And then we do the process data, we do training, which is the trainer, has to be smart about how you train animal. And I will talk about the details of this training in the later videos. And I hope this will be helpful for you in terms of practicing meditation and towards enlightenment. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.